So when you talk about the purpose of choosing a particular story for a particular situation, one purpose that I think is pretty prevalent in business is resolving conflicts. So how can storytelling be used to resolve conflicts in business?
Mostly, conflict is caused by a breakdown in understanding. So you come to me with a whole set of assumptions about me, who I am, what I'm doing, and how I'm doing it. And I'm coming to you with the same set of assumptions. You don't perform the way that I want you to, in some way, let's say in a business setting. You don't say what I wanted you to say, you don't behave the way I wanted you to behave, you disagree with me. You fail to perform a task that I asked you to perform, and you get annoyed with me based on your assumptions about me, based on your feelings that are bubbling up at that time. Then I counteract that with my opinions, judgments, and feelings. So before you know it, we are in a conflict situation because we've strayed away from the actual task at hand or the performance goal, and we are now stuck in an emotional whirl that has to do with assumptions, feelings, judgments, opinions, and a breakdown in the communication between the two of us. So how does the listening and storytelling method help us to resolve conflict? Firstly, the first task is to listen, to learn how to listen openly without judgment and opinion. So can I just listen to your version of what happened without interrupting you and without judging you? And then, once I've done that, and we switch around, can you just listen to my point of view? Now there's a second piece to this. I'm not just telling you my opinions and my judgments, because if I tell you how I feel about something, well, I feel that you're not doing your job properly. And you say, well, I feel like you're a jerk most of the time. Well, I'm a jerk most of the time because you don't listen to me. Well, I don't listen to you because you have no respect for me. You see how you just get into this downward spiral because you're busy with assumptions and judgments and opinions and feelings? So we say, let those go and simply exchange accounts of what happened. When I say a what happened account, I mean something that the five senses could sense. If you can't smell it, see it, taste it, hear it, or touch it, it does not exist. So instead of getting into how you feel and what your assumptions are, I'll simply say, what happened from your point of view? What happened? And then you'll tell me. And then I'll say, well, let me tell you what happened from my point of view. We're just exchanging factual accounts of what happened, and we're not getting into all the feelings and the emotions. So I can give you an example of how this happened. So I was working in an organization in which there had been a long-standing director, and everybody loved him. They could go into his office and share their problems with him, and he listened with a sympathetic ear, and he always had an open door policy. And he died of a heart attack. And he was replaced by a new person. And the new person came in and closed his door. And even though he organized a certain moment in every week, which was called Straight Talk with Dave, people would come in and they would say to me, you can't talk straight with Dave because Dave doesn't listen. You know, you're trying to talk to him and he's looking down at papers on his desk and he's obviously distracted. And really, there was a tremendous divide growing in this company where people just didn't trust the new director. And they started going around him and making their own decisions and disregarding his decisions. And eventually he came to us and he said, I've got a huge problem here. You know, I have a total breakdown of communication in my company. You know, people really are, they don't want to have anything to do with me. So we really had to sit everybody down in a circle. And we had to say to Dave, listen, you need to be able to listen to what everyone has to say to you without interrupting with them, without stopping them. You've just got to listen very openly to what it's like for people to work with you. And they all did that. And then Dave said to them, well, you've got to understand what it's like for me to walk into this setting where you all loved my predecessor. And I've walked in here and I feel like I'm already set up to lose the game. So that's how we were able to resolve the conflict in that organization. Just give everyone an opportunity to tell their story in a context of open and non-judgmental listening. And that's easier said than done.